services, please sit in that area and we will be providing those services to you tonight. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ana Martínez, la proveedora de enlace entre la escuela y la comunidad del Distrito Escolar de Princeton. Si usted necesita servicios en español, le estaremos ofreciendo ese servicio. Por favor, siéntese en esta área de acá para que pueda recibir ese servicio. La información de esta noche estará disponible en nuestra página web más adelante y estará disponible en español. Bienvenidos.
Good evening, everyone, and buenas noches, as Mrs. Martinez stated. Welcome to our 2024 State of the Schools event. My name is Tanya Westwright. I am the Associate Superintendent here at Princeton City Schools, and it is my honor to welcome Wesley Anglin. If you could please rise so he can lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley, and I want to make sure that I just thank him one more time. He was one of the first students that I met when I started at Evendale Elementary. He was in kindergarten, and now seeing him as a junior in high school, and I don't know when his voice got so very deep and low, but it is just wonderful. So thanks again, Wesley Anglin. It is now my honor to bring out the Princeton Board of Education. They will come out and introduce themselves, and we'll start our presentation.
Very tall. My name is Susan Whiter. I will tell you, I taught 32 years in the district, and I have now finished 3 complete terms on the board, so I think you're stuck with me.
Hi, I'm Jody Kessler. This is my 3rd year on the school board, and I have 3 Viking alumni children and 1 junior still at the high school.
Hello, I'm Gina Ruffin-Moore, and this is my beginning of my 3rd term on the Princeton School Board. And by the way, I was the top vote getter. Thanks for your vote. And I am a graduate of Princeton, class of 1975. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mary Cleveland. I've been on the board since 2014. I have the opportunity to also represent Princeton over at Great Oaks, where I serve as the chair. And I also get to represent Princeton with the great state of Ohio as one of 32 trustees representing all of Ohio's students. I currently have a kindergarten granddaughter over at Sharonville Elementary, so I'm already starting on the next generation.
John Simons, how are you guys doing this evening? I'm a proud Princeton graduate, as is my wife And our daughters, and the youngest one should be, she's a 8th grader at the middle school, and I am currently president of the board for school year 24.
And now, without further ado.
Come on, back over there.
Thank you.
Together?
Yes.
All right.
And now, without
Without
further
further
ado,
ado,
our superintendent,
Elgin
Card.
Card.
Like, where is he?
Thank you. All right, I got you. All right. I'll make it quick. Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to our school board there. Very blessed to have the opportunity to be the superintendent at Princeton City Schools. And as some of you know, this is my 3rd time in Princeton City Schools, and hopefully my last, because hopefully I'm here until I'm done. So that is the plan. So with everybody's support, we'll be able to do that. What we're looking at tonight is really want to just welcome some folks, and I'll do that in a second. But before I do that, I want to thank you for the appreciation for all the love you've given me and my family since we moved into the community and been here. It's not easy. I have a wife and I have 4 daughters, three at home, and it's hard because I'm not home a lot. And I have a very supportive wife, so I always give her flowers first, because without her I can't do this. I wouldn't be able to do it, so I always want to do that. And then there's some other people I want to thank too and acknowledge real quick. And first of all, that would be my cabinet. Would they please stand up? If you're part of my cabinet, please stand up. These are the folks that are in my inner circle. These are the folks behind the scenes a lot that do a lot of the stuff that we get done to make this a great district. While I'm the person you see on the videos, and I'm the person you see in the pictures, and I'm the person out and about, they're in there doing that work. So I really appreciate them. And you know, as I've told people a lot, when I took this job, there's only 2 of my cabinet members I really knew in advance. I had worked with one and taught with one here at Princeton, and it's a great team, and I'm very lucky to have them, so I appreciate you and everything you've done. I would also next like to have my administrators. Any administrator in the district, please stand up. These are the folks in our buildings doing the work, and that's very important. As a former principal, assistant principal here, and assistant principal, associate principal in another district, I know how important their job is, how hard their job is. They deal with a lot of different things in the buildings. But I also know we have a great group, and as I continue to learn and get to know them, I'm just proud that we have them here as well. Do we have any of our staff members, any other staff members, please stand. So we know in any kind of leadership role, you need people that are in the trenches doing that work, and these folks are in there doing that work, all right? So we appreciate you as well and where you're going. I will say, without them, they're the ones that touch the kids every day. That's important. You'll hear me say this throughout this conversation tonight, how important it is to make sure that we do things for kids. That's what our business is. We are about the kids, and we're always going to be about that. So I want to make sure that we tell them that, and we're going there as well. Any parents in here? We have any parents? Please stand. And I'm a parent as well. Thank you. As a parent of 4 daughters, my last one is sophomore here at Princeton High School. I know how hard that job is, right? And I know that you are pulled in a lot of different directions. And you send your kids here and you trust us with your kids, and we appreciate you that you do that, because it's not an easy task. I know my daughter coming to Princeton with me this year was a hard thing, but it's been the administration, it's been the teachers that have made her welcome. And as I told her when she was making that decision, Princeton is the place that's going to put their arms around you and love you, because they did that to me in 2003 when I came here and knew nobody else, and that's what they did to me. And now 20 years later, I'm on stage. So that's, I wasn't planning on that, but it's a great thing that happened for me. Something that I always hear everywhere I go, whether I'm in the grocery store, whether I'm at a game, gas station, it's happened. People see my Viking pin or see my Viking clothes, and they say, what do you do at Princeton? Now people are getting to know who I am now, but especially first semester, and I say, well, I'm the superintendent. And the first thing they say, and I heard a couple of people of our board say it, I'm class of 75. It's the first thing they say to me. There is such Princeton pride with our alumni. So if you're an alumni, please stand up. And then I cannot forget our business partners who help us so much and do a lot of things. We'll talk about one of them here a little bit. And then also our community and our taxpayers. You guys trust us to do what's right for Princeton, and we are doing well. We're talking about the state of the schools, and you heard, I'm an old coach, so they say, I feel like our business is booming. We're doing a great job, but we can still do better, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, we want to make sure we tell you that. And then we're going to talk about our educational journey and things that are going on, some of the things. I will not keep you long. I'm going to try to get you out here at a decent time because I know some people already told me it's past my dinner time, so I'm going to do my best. You see teamwork there. That is the only way we can be successful if we all work together. All the people I talked about, okay, and I have some more to talk about too, but the teamwork we have, it takes all of us to make this place successful, to make Princeton the best. And so we continue to do that. And then you see the picture there. We just took this yesterday, so I wanted, first of all, Ms. Westwright, Associate Superintendent, stand up. I know you're up here, but I wanted her to stand up. She is in a, go ahead, yeah, give her. She is in her new role as Associate Superintendent and doing a great job. She is somebody I lean on heavily because she's been in the district for quite a while, she had mentioned, and there's some things that I've been going since 2011. I was here, but I've been going for a long time. So she's someone I can go to, I can trust, and have those conversations. I do appreciate her, and I want to say that publicly. And then we have Dr. Kevin Jameson, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources. As I call him, Dr. J is someone I've known for many years. We worked together in Princeton before when he was in a different role when I was teaching and then assistant principal. For an HR person, he is such an even keel guy, and that's what we need, right? I've been other places where they weren't that even keel. He does a great job with that. I can talk to him. The only thing, and he hears me say this all the time, the only thing when I talk to him sometimes I got to say, he's a smart guy. I don't know what that word means, Dr. J. You got to use some smaller words. I don't know that one. So you hear that quite often, don't you? But I'm learning some new vocabulary from him, so that's a good thing. So thank you, too. We appreciate that. I appreciate you. What about the Student Achievement Fair out there? Give the people a round of applause that are out there doing that. So you have this new superintendent comes in. They're talking about the state of the schools, and I say, Miss Roddy, let's do this. And guess what? Everybody jumped on, the buildings, the kids, the administrators, the teachers, Miss Roddy, who takes care of me quite often, my communications director, and they did such a great job. The turnout was wonderful. We will continue to do that. I want to continue to do that, and we will make sure we grow it and make it better and better every year. And part of it is this. Here's why I wanted to do that. And I said this earlier. I talk all the time about let's showcase our kids. It's not about me. It's about the kids. Well, if I'm going to talk about it, I need to be about it. And that's a way to be about it. Because if you're at one school, you can see what other schools are doing. I get to meet kids I haven't met, so it was great for me. So I appreciate these young folks. Some of them are still in here, and what you did, that was wonderful. So be ready next year because we're going to do it again, okay? And then this picture here this is breaking news here. This is our DECA Club in our business classes. Yesterday, they were in competition, and we had 10 of these students make it to state, the most Princeton's ever had. So give them a round of applause. So the overview tonight, we're going to talk about some academic highlights. We'll talk about Ms. Petter. I didn't have her stand because she's going to come up, so I'll give her flowers a little later. But our district finances, she is wonderful. As we talk and we get to know each other, we're building that relationship as superintendent and treasurer, and it's great. And then we'll talk about some future goals and strategic planning. Now, I'm telling you, I'm not going to go deep into a lot of these things because if I did, we'd be here 2 hours. But I want to make sure that we hit these, and if you have questions and things we can ask at the end, or you can call your principal, assistant principal if you're the high school or middle school, or someone of that nature to get those answers. But we want to hit some of these things. So you see here, this came from a strategic plan, I think 2 strategic plans ago. And you can see what we have here, empowering each student for college, career, and life success. That is our mission. We know it, everybody can say it, and we live it. And that is so important that we live that. We want to make sure, and we know that maybe college isn't for everybody, but maybe they do a trade and they get a career out of that. We know, but what we do know is we want all our kids to be successful when they leave us and have skills to be successful. So some of the things you'll see there, student-centered framework, as I mentioned earlier, And I don't want to read all those, but a couple of them are high expectations. Everybody plays their role, and we celebrate our diversity. And we'll talk more about that later, but that is so important. And then we talk about our future. We're going to be data-driven. We're going to make sure when we make decisions, we have data to back it up. And some of the things we do there with our strategic plan, which I'll talk about a little later, our equity plan, which we had our equity meeting today with our equity team. They did a great job with the panel. Dr. Jameson and his team was leading that. And then District 1 goal, we've hit that as well. As I think about Princeton, you think about the 8 elementaries, you think about the middle school, you think about the high school and innovation center. It's a very unique place. And I tell people this and they're like, what? So you think about it, we have 8 elementaries, people live in 3 different counties, right? We have 2 cities, we have 4 villages. That's very unique. That doesn't happen very often. And what I love about it the most is, while there may be some squabbling amongst each other sometimes, when it comes to Princeton, we come together. So I appreciate our communities doing that. That's very important that we do that. Don't talk bad about Princeton, because I don't care if you're from Sharonville, Springdale, Lincoln Heights, somebody's going to jump on them and say, nah, don't talk about us. And I love that, and I've seen it personally since I've been back, and that's a great thing. Let's look about our enrollment history. You can see since 11, 12, I think that was the year I left, was 11, so I wasn't here for any of this except for the last one. But you can see the growth of our enrollment. And I contributed that, and I didn't ask anybody this, this is my personal feeling. If you've watched Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, right? So in 2009 and 2010, when I was assistant principal at the old building, we were planning building these buildings. I was part of that, and people saw that. And then you see the height of it was 1920. And what happened in 20? COVID. So we dipped a little bit because folks were staying home and folks were doing other things. But you can see how we've leveled off, and we're starting to rise a little bit again. I think we're leveling off, though. And I contribute that to this, the hard work of our kids, our staff, and our administrators, our district administration, because when we look at our state report card, people want to be here because they know it's a great place. They know it gives so much that Princeton advantage. They understand that piece. So you can look there and see that, and I'll be honest, I've been here officially since August 1, but I've been around since about May with Mr. Burton and some other folks, learning the district and doing some things, and I've probably had 40 to 50 calls, texts, emails, or in person saying, how can I come to Princeton? Because they see the great things we're doing. They see the advantage. They see the opportunities our kids have. In other places, a lot of other places just don't have that. So I see that. I don't know how much we'll continue to go, but this is a great number, and I think people are going to want to be here. When I talk to anybody, whether it's a kid, whether it's an adult, whether it is somebody, a parent, whomever, and I say, what do you love about Princeton? And I do it on our little TV show we'll talk about later and some other things. And they say, without question, every time, I don't think there's been a time, one of the 2 or 3 things they say is, we love the diversity. Diversity is our strength. That's what I love about this place. When I first had the opportunity to come here in 2003, I didn't grow up in all that. I wanted to see that. I wanted to grow it. When I brought my daughter here now, she sees that, right? And I will talk personally about how I feel about that. And you can look at the breakdown. I don't need to talk about it, but 50-plus languages. You see the Hispanic Latino population, 34.4. That is the highest percentage in the state of Ohio, okay? You look at Springdale Elementary, the most diverse elementary in Ohio. Sharonville, I believe, is number 2, right? So we are very diverse with great things going on, great opportunities. And what this allows our kids to do, it allows our kids to have real-world experiences and be around all kinds of different people. Because when they go out in the workforce, or whatever they end up doing when they leave here, they're going to have to be able to relate, talk, and be around people different than them. And this is important, and why it's part of the Princeton advantage. And you can also look at our demographics, 13% students with disabilities, 7% academic disadvantage, the English learners there, and 13.7 qualify for gifted. 50-plus languages and dialects are spoken in our district. That's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing, right? But our people handle that like champs and make sure all kids have opportunities. So I appreciate that from them. Graduation and life success, we talk about that. Our 4- and 5-year graduation rate was around 90, a little over 90, surpassing national averages, but the class of 23 did better, so we're going to continue to go up and up and up. And I know the class of 24 is going to keep us going as well. So that is something that's great. You can look at some opportunities for kids. Scholarships awarded $4.4 million for our kids when they're trying to go to schools, whether it's a college, whether it's a trade school, whatever it is. the opportunities are there. And then our Princeton Scholarship Foundation awarded $52,600 in scholarships as well. So there are opportunities for our kids if they look for them, do the things they need to do. We have some programs that are very rigorous, but they are awesome for our kids. And I'm going to go quickly through them. I'm going to highlight a couple of those. And like I said, if you want more information, you can look at those. And then also, if you look at the bottom there, we have a lot of different pathways kids can take, because everybody won't take the same pathway. And then you can look at our Polaris, and that is our book that has all our classes and things in it. It's our class guide. That is online. You can look at that, so you can see all the different things we offer, how to get there, and things. The board just approved this year's Polaris Monday night, so you can look at that and see that. So a couple of the programs we have, pathways we have the IB International Baccalaureate Program, and you can see at the top in bold, because we're very proud of that. It was the first one in Ohio in 1984, so it's 30 years strong. It's very rigorous for our kids. You can see, this is last year's numbers. We don't have this year's yet, but we will. 66 students took at least one IB class, and you had 119 tests taken, so some took more than one test. So they are doing those things. They are, and this is internationally known, thus the name. Okay, colleges look at this and opportunities for kids. We have our advanced placement, our AP, and this is classes by the College Board that kids are looking at. It gives students a chance to take some very rigorous classes as well. You can see there, and you can look at our test numbers there. 254 students took a test. 500 our students are there. 537 tests were taken between those kids, so that is a great opportunity for our kids as well. And then one of the last is CCP, College Credit Plus. You may have heard about this in Ohio. It's a way to earn college and high school credit simultaneously at universities or colleges, and you can see at the bottom we have 17 CCP courses here in the building that kids have the opportunity, and we look to advance that as well, because I know for kids I've been around in the past, when you take those, you're taking credits to college if you end up going to college. And you can, I know kids that did CCP in high school get done in 2 or 3 years because they're so far ahead. So we want to make sure you know about those. You jump in if you want to do those. Talk to your counselor, talk to your assistant principals, talk to your principal, whomever, your teachers about that opportunity. And you can see the numbers there. 23 last year and then 24 for first semester. So a lot of kids are taking advantage of that, and a lot of tests are being taken and college credits are being earned. One of our business partners, GE. So we wanted to do this, and the reason we put this up here was we want you to see our kids, our younger kids too, have opportunities to go out and see things that they can't see in the building. And if you look at that middle picture and see the smiles on those faces, that's got to warm your heart. They're having fun while they're learning, and that is very important, and you can see that there. So thank you. We have so many business partners, just one we have, and I wanted to show you that and see where our kids are doing. They're out there learning, growing, and being around people in the business world. And then our future pathways and work ethics certifications. We work with colleges, work with businesses to do this. We need more. We do have, if you look down the middle of the state of Ohio, named Princeton a grant winner for the Innovative Workforce Innovation Program. And if you've paid any attention to the state, you can see that's a big deal now. They're really pushing not just college, but pushing workforce. And this Princeton has jumped on that and given kids opportunities to do that. So I just had somebody, I don't forget who it was today, but somebody sent me one to do a story on Princeton about this and other things we're doing. I haven't called them back yet, but I want to see what it's about. Because if we can, and it's a good thing, I want to show off our kids as much as we can, and our staff, and the great things they're doing. We do have our preschool and special education programs. We are a 5-star step-up quality ratings, and you can see there 125 preschoolers we have in the 4 buildings, Avondale, Springdale, Stewart, and Woodlawn. You can see 60 preschoolers, disabilities and Head Start, all those different least restrictive environment for those kids. That is great because, and I will give our board kudos, because when we have kindergarten, it's free kindergarten. They realize that if you start early with preschool and kindergarten, you have a better chance of being successful. So I think that just happened a couple years ago, if I remember, that they said kindergarten would be free. That's a big deal, because that's not like that everywhere, and our kids are doing it. Now you can see there, if you have somebody or you know somebody that's ready to go to kindergarten, you see the registration there. They had a table out front, and our enrollment folks did. But you can see there, Thursday, February 29th, registration pre-K. And kindergarten begins March 4th. So make sure you hit those dates and you know where you're at with that. It'll be very important. And that's a great smile there, too. Makes me smile. Okay, talk a bit about our report card. if you're not familiar with the state report card, you hear report cards, you think A, B, C, D, F, you think all homework, you think tests, you think quizzes, and you get a report card. Well, that's not how this works. This works, the kids do their work all year, and they have a test, and we see where we're at. We are very, 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 very proud of the success on our report card. Why it's not perfect, why we have places to grow, and we're working on that. We feel very good. Thus, you see the signs on the buildings. You see the sign out on the curb there. The first thing I asked our people, we're going to brag about our success. That's the way I feel. We're going to do it. We're going to tell people our kids can do it. So if you look at the report card, the ratings look like this, and I won't read that. You can read that, but it goes from 5 stars, the best, to 1 star. Okay? So that is the rating system in Ohio. It's been that way for a few years. And you look here at our overall district rating was 4 stars. So 4 out of 5. That's great. Okay? Now, everybody wants to be 5, right? And we're working to try to get there. But 4 out of 5 is great, and it shows growth that we've had. You can see the other categories. Achievement component rating, 3 stars. Progress, 5. Gap closing means our kids are growing, 5. Graduation rate, 3. So all those meet. Early literacy is at 2, so we're a little bit below there. But our team has been doing a great job of getting ways to bring that up and make us better in that area. So we feel like that's going to come up, and we're going to be better come our next report card. We're going to be. I have very much confidence in our staff and our kids. And then you see the college, career, workforce, and military readiness. That is not rated yet. We think that'll be something that'll have a rating in 24, 25, but we haven't heard for sure yet. But that's where it's heading. We think they'll have something there, so we'll look at that. And that just says kids that graduate, are they prepared for those things? That's what that rating is about. The overall rating, you see there 4 stars, as I said. You can see the ones we did great in. Those are the signs you'll see on the buildings. You'll see out front here in front of the school. I've had several people call me and say something about the sign. That's nice. You put that out there. People need to know our kids are doing great things. And we're going to make sure of that, whether it's through word of mouth, signs, social media, website, calls, we're going to make sure people know that. All right? And then we have, we talk about our career and career awareness things. You can see here, we talk to the kids through Beable, and you can see, it kind of surprised me, some of the things. These are some of the main things the kids said they want to be within their careers as they grow older. Now, we know probably all of us adults changed what we wanted to be 5 or 6 times from the time we were little to big. I was the one in 5th grade said, I'm going to be a social studies teacher and a football coach, and that's what I became. Never said principal or superintendent, but, you know, things happen. So you can see there, the most one was actors. So that kind of surprised me. You don't think of that, but there's a lot of things there with fine arts, vocal, video game designer, the things that are going, lawyers, doctors, things of that nature. So our kids, we want to make sure our kids are thinking like that. What do I want to do? What do I want to be? Doesn't mean you have to do that, but it's getting that thought process at an early age. So, and they can talk about what I need to do to get there. We can talk to them about that, and they can ask questions. So pretty good stuff here. Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Has anybody ever seen that on ICRC-TV? Okay. We do that. We try to do it monthly, and it is what it is this. It is a little TV show we do. And what I've asked Miss Roddy when I became the superintendent, I said, what I want to do with this, I want to make sure, one, we always have some kids that did great things on there. So DECA might be a good one when we get ready next time. Those kids are going to state. Maybe that's somebody will do. I said, secondly, I want to brag on one of our teachers or one of our employees, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a paraprofessional, whether it's security, whatever it is. They're doing great things. And then 3, I want to make sure that we have an administrator at every show if we can, so they can talk about what's going on in their buildings. That's a way for you to find that out. So it's on the TV, but you can go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and see those things too. And I try to make it kind of lighthearted because some people don't like being in front of the camera. I'm not the shy one, right? I like to talk. But some people don't. So we want to make sure we make it lighthearted, have fun, ask personal questions, ask school questions, and last thing I usually always ask is, what do you love about Princeton? And that diversity always comes up with a lot of other things. So you'll see that coming, YouTube, district website, and then on the local TV. Now I'd like to introduce our wonderful, fabulous treasurer, Miss Chris Petter. I'm going to stand off the side. Is that all right?
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out. What a great event, and I look forward to this continuing for many, many years. This is the fun topic of the night, I think. I mean, I think some of you out there might enjoy it, but just to let everyone know who doesn't know, all public school districts in Ohio have to submit a 5-year forecast twice a year. We do one in November, and then we update it in May, and that's a requirement for public school districts. It only shows the money involved in our general fund. It's approaching $100 million now, and the rest of our funds take us up to about $120 million that we are in charge of every year. This does not, so this is our general fund, our operating money for operating the district. It doesn't include things like our debt fund, our bond fund, where we're paying for all our wonderful facilities we have here that were constructed in the last 20 to 10 years now. It doesn't include our special funds like athletics and student activities, and this doesn't include any of the federal grants or state grants we receive. So when we look at this and we talk about, in general, I talk about 3 things when I'm talking about a forecast. I'm talking about revenue, the money that's coming in. I talk about expenses, the money that's going out. And then we talk about the cash balance. What does our savings account balance look like at the end of every year? So when we talk about the money that's coming in, how do we get our money? The majority for Princeton is taxpayer dollars. So you can see that's the 68% on this chart. So that's property taxes where levies have passed, and our taxpayers and businesses and industry are all paying those taxes to the district. We also get a little bit of money from public utility. So when Duke came through very recently and did some work, Stewart area, Reading area, but in our district it was through Stewart, we saw an increase there because they improved their property, so we saw a slight increase there. We're starting to get more and more money from state. I don't know how many of you are aware, but we are in the 3rd year of a new funding plan with our state. This has been very beneficial to Princeton. You saw the enrollment chart, and you could see that uphill climb for our enrollment for many, many years. We basically received the same amount of money from the state. We were a capped district. We were flat paid. It was not growing. So this new funding formula was passed by our legislators. If you know a state legislator in the House or the Senate, thank them. We've got 4 years funded, 2 more years to go, and ask them to keep continuing that. We need that money. It is a huge benefit for Princeton City School District. That has been increasing. That's really the largest source that we have of increase. Our property tax is fairly flat. Our tangible personal property tax, which was a large amount of money the district received many years ago, is approaching 0. It's being phased out. So we really need to push that state funding. And that formula was developed by administrators and superintendents and treasurers and people who were experts in special ed and English language learners. So it is a great formula. It understands what it takes to educate all students in all types of districts. And Princeton has seen some growth. Very, very nice. The other little area is small little area. We've seen some growth in this because all of a sudden the economy is doing better and our money is making money. So that's the main increase in that area is interest revenue. So this is where our money comes from to help support Princeton. Let's go here. Expenses, how do we spend our money? So we are a people business. We spend money on people to educate and support the services around educating students. So when you look at that green part of our pie chart, we're spending right now 76%. Public school districts, on an average, spend 70 to 80% of their budget on staff, okay? Purchase services for Princeton has a little more people in it than possibly some other districts. We have a transportation costs in there, so we're paying bus drivers out of there. We have our substitute costs, so we're paying people out of there. And then we have a lot of special services that we pay out of there too. We have some psych, some nursing, just other things to support our students. So a lot of people focused in our expenses. And then that small area of our pie chart is where you see things like supplies and materials. You'll see some of our capital outlays. So you'll see technology, HVAC, roofs, things like that. But the majority of our money is truly focused on the people that work with students. Then the last part, again, as I said, you can see involves cash balance. School districts that operate majority with property taxes are passing levies, and levies earn a certain amount of money, and then that money really doesn't grow. It's what you receive. You only receive increases on new construction. So we pass a levy for X, we basically collect X, no matter if property values go up. You're hearing about that in the news right now. We collect the basic same amount, unless we see a large subdivision move in. Then we might get a bunch. That doesn't happen really in Princeton. So our revenue grows large when we pass a levy, and then we have a cash balance. And we eat away at that cash balance as the levy gets old, because it flattens out. So we are at the stage, we passed a levy in 19 for new money. Thank you, taxpayers. We really appreciate it. We needed it. We were able to save it longer than anticipated because we received a nice sum of money from the ESSER funding from the pandemic. But now we're in that stage where our levy's a little old, so our expenses are catching up with that revenue. So that's kind of where we see the shift from the blue being higher than the orange, and we're now moving into spending more than we bring in. But we have a little cash balance, which is helping us. And then the second chart shows you how when your expenses exceed your revenue, how you start eating away at that cash balance. That is a savings account. We've increased our tax revenue, it's high for a while, and it's called a levy cycle. Some people are really talking in the news right now about schools having too much money, too much cash balance. I think they really don't understand a true levy cycle. We're rich in the beginning, and we spend that away. We can't pass a levy every year. I mean, nobody wants to do that. So this is what we look like right now. As you can see, our board and our administrators are planning for how we're going to deal with our cash balance decreasing. You're going to hear some things about our plan and what we're going to do very soon. And if anyone out there ever has any questions or wants a deeper dive into school funding and Princeton funding, my contact information is on the website, and I'm always happy to talk about it. And we can go way in deep if you want. Elgin?
Thank you, ma'am. School funding is heavy, isn't it? As Ms. Petter and I sit and talk and have conversations around that, I realize how much she knows about that and how lucky we are to have her, so thank you, ma'am. Portrait of a Princeton graduate. Let's talk about that a little bit. This came from a previous strategic plan, as we'll talk about updated strategic plan coming soon. And you can see there some of the more bold: a plan for the future, social skills, contributes to society, strong habits of mind, real world skills, equity, and then the things under there. Those came from community members, teachers, administrators. These are the things that you wanted, and we are trying to make sure, and we are making sure that our kids have, and when they leave here, they can do these things. So that's very important. Now, our strategic plan, the one is we're losing that now. That one's up. We're about to start a new one, so we're going to need your help again to see where we're at and what you feel like we need to do and how we can help grow our kids. So, strategic plan update. We have met with some people about starting that process. Ms. Westwright and Dr. Jameson have done that. You'll be hearing soon about engagement sessions. We need to talk to kids. We need to talk to teachers, administrators, parents, community members, to all the taxpayers. You have an opportunity to do that so you can tell us what you think. And there'll be questions they'll send you, or we'll meet face to face so you can tell us what we need to do, and we can put our strategic plan together to make sure we're meeting the needs of our kids. Questionnaires will go out. Second cup of coffee, Ms. Anna was up here before. That is something where people meet in the buildings, and staff or parents come in and they can meet in the buildings and they have conversations. We also have a parent academy we have going on. It was in Sharonville, the last one was. I was able to go to that one time. I think we've had one in Stewart, and we're going to Glendale next, I believe. Glendale next? Okay. So If you see that, please take, and in the parent meetings, we have that as well. Please, you'll see emails, you'll get information about these events. Please go and be heard. That is what we need you to do so we know what you're thinking, regardless of where you stand in the district. If you work for the district, if you're a parent, community, and past payer, please be there and let us know. And then this is very, very important. If nothing else you heard about the strategic plan for me is this. Make sure the Youth Truth Survey, input and feedback needed from you, will be out February 26th to March 22nd. I need my building administrators to make sure all their teachers, and if you're a teacher, make sure you're filling out this year. It's even more important than ever because it's going to help guide, that's something that's going to help guide our strategic plan. Okay, so it's important. If you're a parent, please take the time to fill that out this year. If you never have before, please take that time. We need to hear from you. We want to know what you think, what you want, so we can make sure the kids are getting their needs met and doing those things. So that's very, very important. We want to grow. We want to continue to be successful. We need your help in doing that so we know what our community is looking for and needs. Talk about a few dates, some very important dates. Our business and community breakfast. I talked about our business partners. We have those February 8th and May 9th, 8 to 9:30 at the Princeton High School there, cafeteria. You were in there earlier. Make sure that if you know any businesses that want to be a part of that, they email Ms. Roddy, Ms. Tanya Key, and do that. And the best thing about that is you don't have to hear me talk this long, okay? It is about, we have kids come, and we have kids sit with the business people, and they can talk about what they do, and kids can ask them questions, and they can ask kids questions. It's about the kids, about the conversations. It is really important. We put a really emphasis on less of me talking and more of kids talking to the business partners. That's what I want. That's what the kids want. And our business partners, when I came last May, before I was hired, but I wasn't the superintendent, a lot of them told me that. We want more time with the kids. And I just had a couple meetings recently with folks. They didn't realize, they said, we never come to that. But now we know we get to talk to the kids, we're going to start coming. So they're getting hold of Miss Roddy and Miss Key. So please be there. iGuardian, very, very important. It's part of our Viking U.S. Professional Development Day on Thursday, February 15th. Back before the holiday break, we had some folks come in from Homeland Security to talk to our 8th graders about online safety. And it was a great presentation. We all know there are bad people out there online doing bad things. And I know grown-ups that sometimes don't understand it. So we need to make sure our kids know and understand. So we want to make sure when they come back, and we had a meeting about this today, from 1 to 2:15 on that day, and I know it's not a great time for if you work and things, but we want our teachers can sign up for that, and if parents want to come, and they can come to it as well. We talked to them about having something later in the evening, so if parents have work and things, they can see that. I think it's having a 15-year-old daughter, it's important for me to hear that, and even though she doesn't want to listen to me most of the time, I still can tell her and learn those things. So that's so important. If you can come to that, I think it would be very beneficial. Invite your friends, parents, if they want to come as well. I think you'll thank yourself that there's some things that when I saw it, and I think I know a lot about it that I didn't even know. Some things that are going on. So it's been very beneficial for us. Princeton Financial Fitness Fair, February the 24th, 10 to 3. I think it's a Saturday here in the Viking Room and then in the cafeteria. Come and learn about your finances. I needed that when I probably need it now too, but I needed it when I was 20 for sure. How to do checks, how to do taxes. You can even sign up to get your taxes done, not right there, but at a later date. Credit cards, how credit cards work, interest. Those things are stuff that our kids need, but our young adults need, and some of our adults, old as me, need. So that would be something good to come see. And then the Festival of the Arts is always it's a huge event here. We have great arts here, whether it's music, singing, visual art, drawing, whatever it is, we have great things. So that'll be March 10th, noon to 5 in Viking Village. So if you can come to that, please do. So those are some of the things coming up here towards spring break. Then another huge event, March 16th, is our Princeton Education Gala. Come to this. It is something that is a fundraiser. It is a great event. We get all dressed up and have a little bit of fun. I dress up every day, but I just a little extra for that. So if you can do that, QR code there if you want it. It's online as well on our website. It's really a good event. I've been one time years ago, and I think that it's over at the Delta Hotel across the street, and it's just a fundraiser. And our Princeton Education Foundation runs that, and they give. You saw the $52,000 in scholarships they gave last year. This is a fundraiser to do some things and help our kids. So if you can make it, I know our administrators come, our board. People will be there, so please, if you can come, do that. Now, the eclipse is at April 8th, I believe. So this has been a hot topic we've been talking about. Here's where we're at. We're going to be in school that day, as of now. We have glasses for everybody. We will get those out. They're already counting them and getting them out. I was with some folks, some superintendents from all over yesterday at a superintendent's BASA, the association meeting out in Hamilton County. We were told that there are some new projections coming out at the end of the month. So depending on those projections, that could change. But we're going to make sure you have a month or two to make arrangements if we're not here. But right now, we are going to be here, our regular schedule. That's the decision we've made. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that, but also wanted to make sure you knew that depending on the next projections, it could change. So as I look to projections now, we're going to get some of that, but it's not right. We're not right in the middle of it, but you never know what happens. So we'll adjust if need be, work with my team, and we'll do that. And then social media. Please follow us on all these things because there's so much great things going on that we put on social media. You can see their Facebook, you can see Instagram, you can see mine in the district's Twitter, now X, and then our YouTube page. Along with you can look at our website as well for a lot of good information, okay? So I'm going to stop for a second and call up another gentleman. I'll get him in a minute. We have a new safety thing put in place called Centegics. As you know, we've had a couple back the fall before last of 22, a hoax here that was a pretty big deal. I was not here at the time, but I was right down the road, and I got thousands of calls from people wanting to know if a lot of people I care about here were okay. We also got one this year. So this right here, and I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'm not going to get into it anymore, but this is not the only safety measure we have. This is just a new one. My hope is we never use it, but if we have to, it's here. We've done other things. We have protective film on the windows. We've done that this year. So we know when there's a bad thing that happens and some bad guys out there, seconds count, minutes count, because these don't last but 3 or 4 or 5 minutes normally. We have film on the windows, so it's harder for people to get in. Just the exterior, not the windows, I'm sorry. The exterior doors. They're not on the windows because if we need to get out, we couldn't put them on there. But the exterior doors have that. It'll make, if somebody wants to do something, bang it with the sledgehammer, shoot at it, it takes longer for them to get in. We can get help here quicker. So Centegics, I'm going to read this here real quick about the gentleman coming up. Checkmate Safety Solutions is a company founded by former educators, administrators, superintendents, and law enforcement personnel with over 75 years of combined experience in K-12 education. Their focused mission is simply to help and support school district leaders to become aware of cutting-edge safety and security technology platforms such as the Crisis Alert Emergency Response System, as we see there. The system has now been installed in all Princeton City schools. Checkmate Safety is helping many Ohio school leaders navigate today's serious safety challenges, helping to create comprehensive layered security plans that truly keep students and staff safe every day. The founder of the company, Mr. Jeff Downs, is here. If he would come up, and he's here to give us a little more information about this system. Mr. Downs.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, sir. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here in front of everybody here at Princeton. Centegics is a company. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. Some of these stories are not so good stories. They're not such feel-good stories. But about 2 years ago, we had a situation with a school district in Clark County, Nevada, where we had a teacher that was helping a student after school, and that student decided to get very angry at that teacher, and he attacked that teacher. And he beat that teacher up so badly that that teacher was in intensive care. 5 feet away from where that teacher was getting beat up was a panic button that was on the wall, and she couldn't get to it. When he was done beating her up, he had stacked a bunch of desks on top of her trying to hide the body and decided that he was going to make the exit. If that teacher would have been wearing a wearable badge like I'm wearing right here that every single staff member in the Princeton School District has now, she would have been able to call for help. Another situation where we had a 5-year-old preschooler go out on the playground at another school district, fall off of a piece of playground equipment, hit their head so bad it knocked them unconscious, and they flatlined out on the playground. greatly enough that we had the badge system in place with that particular school. That teacher was able to call for help immediately, and within inside of 45 seconds, they had responders out on that playground, because what our system does, as soon as that alert is triggered by a staff member, our responders that are on site, which are typically the principal, an SRO, a nurse, a counselor, they're going to get immediate notification, and they're going to be able to see where that person needs help. They were able to respond to that situation. They were able to revive that 5-year-old child, and they saved that life. That's exactly why we do what we do. We want to make every single classroom in the Princeton City Schools a very safe learning environment for all students to come. We want staff members to feel safe in their classrooms, and this layer of communication certainly does that. And we are honored to be working with Princeton City Schools, the first school district in southwestern Ohio to actually install this system, and we have about 20 other school districts now in Ohio that have followed suit. So we're proud to be a partner with you guys, and I thank you very much.
You want me to talk about the presses? If you look here real quick, I'll just give you a quick brief overview. You can see there's two types of badge alerts. There is the staff alert, and that is internal to where the site responders get that. So that would be something like he had mentioned, you're by yourself, something happens, you can't get to a phone, you don't have a walkie-talkie, you hit the button, and help will come. So the principals, myself and Ms. Westwright get all these, even though we're across town, sometimes we're happening to be close, we can get there. And then that is probably about 99% of the times we'll use these. We still want to use our other things we have, but just in case you're by yourself and no one to help you, you can do that. The second one is the lockdown alert, and that is when we're having a horrible day and someone's trying to get in and someone has a weapon. And what we talk to staff about, we've been training them, Mr. McDaniel, who was up here as well, is telling them it's not about what you hear, it's about what you see. Don't press the button because you hear things. Because remember the hoax in 22? People were calling saying, somebody's in there. Well, they didn't see it. They're just hearing stuff from outside and then calling inside and everything else. If you don't see it, we don't want to press, because what happens is and when you press that lockdown, it goes right to the county thing and they're coming. But if there's only one, they may send someone close. When they get multiple presses from all over the building, they're coming. And as I said, seconds matter in these events, and we can get them here quicker to make sure our kids and our staff are safe. And unfortunately, when I started teaching, I was worried about making sure our kids knew the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s 25, 27 years ago. That's still something very important, but 1A might be keeping everybody safe, and 1B might be that, unfortunately. That's just the world we live in now. We can act like it's not, but it is. So we want to make sure, and we're very happy to be partnering with them. I'll give the district, our board, and previous superintendent a lot of credit for bringing this to the district. It is something that's going to be beneficial. As I said, I hope we never, ever use it. That's the goal, but if we have to use that lockdown alert, we know we have a better chance of saving lives if we need to do that. So we want to thank them again. So I want to thank you for being here. We were close, a little bit over. I talked a little bit too much, but I want to thank you because, as I said earlier, this has been a great first semester for me, and we're past that. I've met so many great people. My family has met great people, and we have great kids and great people working here. So as we close, I want to say this. Have a great evening, and as always, go Vikes. Now, we are having, Mr. McDaniel, do you want to come talk about where we're meeting at?